Right. Hello. Good morning. I'm still feeling. I'm actually worse today. So this is kind of a test to see if I'm even able to get any work done today. We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, I've been like this is also like a sleeping type of development flow. I'm having a really hard time finding the right mental model for this. And a data structure that reflects that mental model. Because, let's see. Let's look at this thing. So, the way it looks in the UI is that you have the commits, you have the files, and you have the hunks within each file. Now, the thing is, this array should be a data structure that allows us to efficiently change the order of the hunks. But the thing is that we're not just changing the order of them. We're manipulating the old start, the new start. We have to merge them. And how these values are manipulated is based on the hash. And it just gets super confusing because here it seems like it's based on the hash. It's not only based on the hash, it's also based on the old start and new start. And also not just old start and new start, but new lines and old lines that represents the changes, like how many lines have changed. Let's put that in there. Sorry. Old lines and new lines. And then it's like, okay, should it be ordered by hash? But that's very confusing because then it's not ordered by lines. And that's what defines how you can move hunks around. So lines that it's so so you can list them by line number, right? Old start, for example. But across commits, that old start is gonna change because it reflects the initial state of the document at the commit. So that doesn't really make sense. And so what I was thinking is like, okay, what if we just sort it by which line was changed first? So you at least you get like a sense of the document and how it changed through the document. And then it will still have the hash reference, like which hash did this line actually change? And then when we would move these lines around, we would just change the hash of them. We wouldn't actually change the position. We would just change the hash. So we didn't have to resort them. Because we aren't... But still, that's a problem. Because what if... what if, for example, this commit here. So this is old start, new start, and then we have, sorry, it should be old lines. So old lines is 1, new lines is 3. Oh, sorry, it should be the opposite. So this is 1. So basically this modification added 2 lines. We don't really care about the lines. Those will always be the same. And then we had a change on line let's say 5 here, and we just modified it. So the way this should be listed is the opposite. So since given that we order by line number, it should be this order, but this change here happened before this change. So the old start and the new start here is based on these line changes. So if I were to move this hunk to C3, that would still make sense, right? Because we're still applying these lines before these ones. But if I were to move it to C0, then these lines doesn't exist here yet. Or does it? Wait, it does. Oh wait, sorry, it's the opposite. God damn it. This is so confusing. I wanted to do the opposite. Let's see. So, okay. So, we have the oldest commit, C2. It adds 2 lines on line 1. And then we have a second commit, C3, which does a modification on line 5. And that line 5 depends on the line changes of this one. If I change this to C3, it's fine, right? Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, because I wanted it to be sorted by line number. Okay, wait a minute. God damn it. C3. Yeah, sorry. This is, yeah, sorry. Fuck's sake. So, we have this modification of package.json on an older commit SHA. We're adding 2 lines, which means that C3 depends on the 2 line changes, the 2 additions on this this hunk. If I change this to C3, it's still fine because this will be applied before this one. Because we're ordering by line number. But if I do C4, suddenly this will be applied before this one, which means that now we need to change this to 3. And the logic here is really, I'm at C2 and I'm moving to C4. What I need to do is accumulate or filter this list of hunks on I need to filter this list on the commits between C2 But this is even, like, it gets even more complicated, because what if I have something like C2 and then I make a change to 4, and this adds another line. And let's put this on like 6, 6, 1, 1. So I'm changing this to C3. And now this addition doesn't happen here anymore. So I need to find all, basically what I need to do, okay, so I'm changing a hash, and based on changing that hash, I need to find all the hunks that's between this hunk at this hash, and then, but what confuses me is that I only want to change yeah, I don't know. I think there's a reason why no one has this functionality. But I don't understand why it's so complicated. It seems so simple, but it isn't. It's super complicated, and it bothers me. So I had another thought, and that was to isolate each hunk so they don't depend on anything, or they don't depend on each other. So what we would do is, given this being the initial state of the thing, we would go in and we would see, okay, old start, new start, 1, 1. That's fine. How should I put this? So given that C2 is the first commit, let's call it C1 then, since it's the first commit. So yeah, so what we would do, we just go through the commits. So we would keep the first commit as is, because the old start reflects the initial state of the document at the beginning of the branch. That's what, so this is fine. This is like normalized. But then we might have another commit. And now this old start has changed. Like, it's not based on the initial state of the document, because we added 2 lines on the previous commit. So now the old start here becomes 4 instead of 2, because I added 2 lines on the previous commit. But what we could do is that per commit, we could count the number of line changes, and then we can normalize all the other commits. So we have 2, and then we add another line here. So here we would remove 3. So this kind of normalizes in the sense that each hunk can be applied to the initial document at the beginning of the branch. But when we actually like calculate the rebase, we'll bring back those changes. Or like we'll go through like the reordered thing, and then sorry, you make some changes to the hunks, right? And then we'll just run through them. So the point is, you don't even want to have like a hash reference to evaluate the actual like movement of hunks. You want to get to a state where each hunk can be represented in isolation. You just put them in order, and then the hash reference just states when it should be applied. And then for each and then you just count again. So when we actually do the rebase and generate the first commit, we would do the same thing. We would look at, okay, how many lines changed here? Okay, 2 lines. So let's say we normalize this now, right? And then I chose to put this on C1. So what would happen then? What would happen then is that I would go through it. I would look at the first hunk. We're applying that to the document. I see that it adds 2 lines. So what we're going to do then is we're going to reapply those 2 lines to the new start. The old start is correct because we're still on the same commits. We're not going to apply anything there. And then this is the same. And then this states that we're adding a line. So now we're on 3 lines again. But now that we're on a new commit, we're going to apply those here and here. So for every new commit, we change the old start with the current line changes. So that makes it so much easier, right? Because we're generating the initial state of the hunks, and then we can just move them around. It doesn't matter. We don't have to transpose them at all. But rather when we go for the actual rebase, that's when we go and generate the current state of things. That makes sense to me. But what if we, let's test this a bit more. So we've normalized this now, and now we say, no, I want this to happen on like C4 maybe. So again, it would do it by order. It would figure out here we have 2 lines. It goes to 3. It changes the old start to 5 and the new start to 5. And we have 2 lines added. And then this becomes 4 and 4. But does that make sense? Yeah, it does. Because when we apply this one, this will be bumped, right? In the actual document, it will be a new line in front of this. I think this makes sense. Like, it's an interesting approach. But let's try to break it in the sense that what's also interesting about this is that I think it's easier to identify overlapping overlapping hunks, because when we normalize them, it should be possible to predictably like just compare. Does any of them actually get added to the same lines? And if they do, we can merge one into the other. Or at least put them in order. That's also a question. Like, what do we do with overlapping hunks? Do we just force them to be added in order? Or maybe we don't even do that. Yeah, I want to try this first and see what happens. But the thing the biggest problem with this is that if we normalize, maybe you have C1, C2, C3. And then on C2, you make this big change, right? You add like 50 lines. And then you have a third commit where old start is like 40. New start, it just changed one line. Oh, but yeah, if I do this and I normalize it, I would actually remove those 40 lines, right? So here I would add 2 lines. I removed it from here. So I have 2 lines, and here I added 49 lines, so it's 51 lines. Yeah, so this is the thing, right? So what would happen here is that 51 lines, so this would be like minus 11. Right? Yeah, but this is interesting because this says something about the dependency, right? If this number becomes minus, it means that it can't really apply it. So if I were to move this one to C2, and I will move this one to C3, for example, like that wouldn't work. But maybe that's exactly what we need. Because what we can do now is, so as we make changes to this, we can derive the actual rebase state. Like, how will these hunks actually be applied now? And if they end up being applied with minus, it means that there's a dependency here that you need to resolve. We can even show it in the UI. Like, on this commit, the C2 commit, there's going to be like an indication that, oh, you have a hunk here that can't be applied here yet, because it actually depends on applying these other lines. And then we just don't allow you to perform the rebase. Oh, you know what? I think maybe this intuition led down to something good. And this also relates to, like, we want to derive as much as possible. We don't want to mutate state. And that's what we've been doing. We've been going into these hunks and we've been mutating their states in the array and moving them around and everything. But we don't want to do that. We just want to generate a list of hunks where we can change the hash and then derive the new rebase. We're going to try this. Yes, I want to try this. This made me excited. So we're going to remove... so this is fine, I think. Yeah, so should handle multiple commits and files. Yeah, that's fine. Let's we're gonna remove the tests for this because this just doesn't work. And then we're gonna oh my god. We're gonna remove all this stuff. We might need this one. So we're gonna change how we... Oh, let's remove that one as well. We're gonna change how we produce the initial changes. So now we have the file changes and they are based on... We're going through each commit and we're getting the changes. So what I think we want to do I think we want to sort the file changes here. Or do we? Because now they are per commit, and I guess that's what we want, right? Okay, let's try to normalize them. And should that be the job of the rebaser? Or yeah, I think so. So we're gonna create a private normalize changes. So our constructor actually needs to do this, and then we're gonna say this dot sorry, private changes. Let's just call this changes equals changes. But we're gonna do this dot normalize changes. File changes. Okay, I think we're gonna do this very straightforward, and we're just gonna we can normalize them in place. We can just mutate them. Oh, I hate this. Like, you know what? We're gonna keep this private changes, and then we're just gonna say this normalize changes. And then we're just gonna mutate it. I'm taking that approach for this project. Oh, interesting. What is it doing here? Yeah, that's not what I meant. So so change of changes. What we need to keep track of here is let line changes. So current hash. Now the question is this in order? I don't think it is. I think we wanna sort these changes by the first commit. Yeah, I think so. Let's see. I want to sort by the index. Each item references, each item has a hash reference to a commit in this dot commit. I want to sort. For fuck's sake. I already had this logic. There it is. So we're just gonna sort them by commit, because they're already ordered by the change being applied. So we should be able to go through. Oh, I guess. Yeah, no, that's fine. And then current hash will be changes. How do we do this? So we're gonna change. So if we're on the same hash, we're not gonna adjust old start and new start. It's only when we transition into new hash we're gonna do that. Yeah, so I think we can just state, so change old start plus equals line changes count, and change the new start, and then we're gonna say this line changes count is bound to the current hash. How do we achieve that? Okay, current line changes count. Next line changes count. Current hash. Next hash line changes count. So what we're gonna do is if change.hash equals current hash, else we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna say next hash line changes count is gonna be not that one. It's gonna be change dot is it new lines? New lines minus change dot old lines, I think. So when we're iterating the same hash, we're gonna change the old start and new start count. And then we're gonna accumulate these line changes so they're ready for the next hash. So if the hash changes, we're gonna say current hash equals change hash. We're gonna say, yeah, exactly. Well, this isn't true. It shouldn't be 0. It should still be this. So we're changing the hash and we're saying that the current hash line changes count equals what we accumulated from the previous one. And then we say that next one needs to be, well, I guess we don't need to change that. We're gonna keep adding to it, right? Yeah, so I think this logic should rather be if change is not equal to current hash, then we're gonna change this and bump it, and then we're always gonna do this. I think it would be nice to test this. Well, we can test it. I wonder why the rebaser test isn't failing. Oh, because it's only one in each. But the changes, shouldn't they be? Oh yeah, there's a single one. Different files. Yeah, readme package JSON. That makes sense. And then this first one, yeah, it's just a single change. Okay, so we can start adding to this now and see if it normalizes. Yeah, let's try to write a test rate. Or ask Claude to make a test rate. Could you add another test? Let's bring in rebase here as well, which is going to verify the normalizer functionality. Do this by adding a test which has 2 commits on the same file. The first commit should make additions, should add lines to the file, resulting in an offset for start, for old start, and new start for the next commit. But when normalizing, it should subtract this offset, whatever. It'll probably figure it out. Ooh, did they add? Okay. Let's see. Let's see what it did. So we have commit 1, second commit. Now we have to make sure of the order here, because this is not really the correct order. I think. How do we add? No, we say commit 1. Okay, we have to remember this, that we pass the commits in. Let's see. Should be commits in chronological order. So what does this mean? A index. Ah, fuck, it's so fucking order of commits and hunks, and it's very confusing. But yeah, we can just look at it. So what we want is the commits come in chronological order. So it's actually first this commit, then this commit. And then we have the changes where it first added 2 new lines, and then it modified well, I want you to actually pass in this is not what I wanted you to do. I wanted you to do this. Nine? Yeah. So I think it's just how I calculate line changes. So next hash line changes count, I guess it should be minus, because we're removing added lines, right? Yeah. But if it's minus, what does minus minus? Minus minus becomes minus. That's not what I want. I think maybe I want to do this instead. Let's try that first. So old start here should be 5. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, this is a different thing. Oh, this is very interesting. Because the old start here is 5, but the new start is 7 because of these two added lines. So if we're going to normalize that, when we're in the same hash, oh wait, sorry. It's a new hash. So that's true. Sorry, this should be 7, this should be 7. Because old start is in a new commit, which means that the 2 lines has been applied. It's correct. Yeah. I think this is correct. And can we write another test? Could you add another test where lines are removed? And another normalized test where lines are removed? Oh, this is nice. This is new. Ooh, that's really cool. I didn't see this. And then it fails. And that's good, I guess. So we're removing 2 lines. And then on the next commit, we're making an edit on old start, new start. And since we're removing lines, yeah, this is just, I think it's like it doesn't understand. I think this should be 10. Yeah. Like it's so, I don't think there's much training data for Claude or any other model for doing this kind of coding. Like the concept is unknown to it. Because nobody's dumb enough to try to do this. Because now we remove 2 lines, right? But we're making the hunks think that nothing changed for each hunk. Okay, so that works. Now that we have that normalization, What do we want to do? Do we want to change the, like in the UI, we're going to show, yeah, like the UI should display the exact rebase. So now we have to, in our get rebase commits, we have to make sure that it actually applies. I don't know if normalize is the correct term here. Maybe we should call it like isolate changes or something. Whatever. The point is that as we're going through this, we now need to reapply changes again. File changes, push change. I think this is fine. So what we want to do is at the end of each, yeah, at the end of these changes, we want to say file changes. Oh, come on. We want to just go through the changes for the file, but what the hell are we doing here? Rebase commit by hash. If we don't have a rebase commit, we add the rebase commit. Then we go and find the related file name. Yeah, we're going. Oh, yeah. But do we need to do this for every? Oh. Yeah, I guess the question is, when the hell do we actually fix the changes here? It's after this is done, but we don't really have a reference to. Oh, this is so annoying. I guess we kind of just have to go through it again. We need to go rebase commits. Yeah, like rebase commits, and then for each rebase. No, this is wrong. We should do this before. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. We need to fix it here. So these are the changes for that specific file. And that should be in. Uh, for fuck's sake. So we want to sort it by commit, and we still want to do that. Because now when we call this get thing, we might have moved something, so we want to recalculate. But the question is, do we do that when we move? Can we? Okay, we're gonna make the assumption that the changes here are in the order of the commits. Yeah. Okay, cool. So these are, we're gonna assume they are in order, and when we move, then we're gonna resort the array of changes. So whenever you call this, it's already, yeah, it's okay. So what we want to do, we want to go through these changes much like we did here, really. Much like we did here. Let's see. I guess the problem now is we're mutating. So we need to slice this. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing. But now we're actually not going to subtract. We're going to add. So is it as simple as just doing this? I wonder. Okay. Okay. Now I want you to write, because I already have reference to calling, to write a test which makes line changes to a file in 2 different commits. In 2 different now I want you to write a test which makes line changes to a file in 2 different commits. Verify that, you know what, I think we're just going to add to the existing tests. Should normalize changes by adjusting line numbers. So when we do this, but when we expect rebase or get rebase commits to equal, we're going to have something like, let's see. We expect it to be back to normal. That's the point. Let's see. Oh, commit 1 hash. Was it package JSON 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Oh, sorry. So this should be changes 0, and this should be changes 1. Oh, that's a different file. Oh, test.txt. Excuse me. And oh, it's the messages. Look at that. So we verify that when we grab it again, it's back to normal. And then we're gonna do the same thing down here. And yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess it's the same. Same thing. Nice. Great. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna try again. Now we're gonna try to move a change. But now moving a change is very, very simple. We're just gonna find the change. We're not gonna actually move it. We're just gonna say, not even target index. We're you know what? I'm not even gonna do any of this. We're just gonna say index hash equals target hash. That's all we're gonna do. Because what's gonna happen now is that we're gonna call get rebase commits again. And oh, sorry, we're also gonna sort it. So where's the sorting? Sorry. Changes. File name. So we're gonna sort it in place. And then this should just work. Let's see. Let's bring in rebaser. Now write a test where you add you modify a file that adds 2 lines in the first commit and then modifies a later line in a second commit. Now move the change of the second commit to the first commit using move change method. Verify the result. So this is just checking if the actual new start yeah, so this is probably gonna fail because when we move it now, it won't adjust. Yeah, we're gonna look at this because it will keep the correct old start, right? But it won't create the correct new start because we have added 2 lines. So we should adjust the new start. I love this new experience. Like they're locking down the file, showing this nice spinner thing. Oh, I think I need to blow my nose. Oh, that's a big test. You know what? I'll be back in 2 seconds. let's see. Accept, I'm sure you're fine. Oh, undefined, interesting. Let's see what it wrote. So we have commit 1, commit 2. We have modification adding 2 lines. We have modification changing all start, new start. And then we're moving the change. Not sure why you need to do this. Well, one thing we didn't take into account in our move change is if a dot hash equals b dot hash. Yeah, we want to do this instead. I think, yeah. So then it says we have 2. This is correct. Like there's nothing else here, but I don't know why I want to do this. Can't you just do this? So this should still be changed to 0, but here we should really have new start 10. That should really be the answer. But here it's like, what the hell is going on here? Undefined? Why isn't it? So it doesn't have, oh, it becomes undefined. Why? Get rebase commit. Oh. Oh, because we fuck, we don't have any changes. Ah, fuck. This is a different problem. Yeah, I was a little bit curious, like, why do we add the rebase commits here? I think we should prep the rebase commits first. Yeah, this is a silly thing. Let's see. Rebase commits by hash. Like, we should just reduce. Commits, reduce. Could you just put everything in here for me, please? Ah! Why doesn't it fill it in? There we go. Oh, it's so annoying that I really dislike the typing of reduce. I wish it was able to like, I think I can put it in here. Oh, here as well. Can I do that? Yeah. But it's so, yeah. Yeah, so now rebase commit equals rebase commits by hash. Yeah, so now it's there, but we have why does it say expected, received? Why does it say a plus there? Oh, we forgot to put it in there. Yeah, exactly. So now we have the problem, because even though we move this up, and we have the correct old start, we don't have the correct new start, because this added a line. But I think this is doable. So when we're going through these changes, now we need to keep track of current line. Yeah, now we need to keep current hash line. Yeah, now I don't think there's an actual difference here. Now we're just gonna go through we're gonna increase both of them. That's the difference. Well, no, we're just gonna change the new start. Yeah, so the old start has the same, but we're not gonna call this next hash. Current hash line changes count. Just current line changes count. I think this is the right way, because now we want to keep the same old start, but now that we're kind of putting back how the hunks affect each other, we need to change the new start. Nice. I think this is correct. Like, this might end up in a wall somewhere, but we've gotten further now, definitely. So now add another text where we test where we remove lines in the first commit instead. I love using LLMs for writing tests. Oh, Eva's, their founder and friend, has a birthday today. Okay, accept, I guess. Oops. So what did it create now? So we have two commits. We're removing two lines. And then we're modifying line 10, which should result in us having an old start of 8. And then a new start of 6. So I think it's actually correct here. But for some reason, it adds to it. I think we have the same problem as before. Oh, interesting. New lines. Okay, but now maybe wait a minute. Because now I think the other one fails. No, with line removal. Interesting. Okay, let's isolate the test and see what's happening here. So we're running through this, and what should happen here is that we should have a current line changes count. Let's just look console.log change and then current line changes. So we have the modification where it removes one line and it's 0 and then -2. So new start should be plus -2. So why does it become 12? Sorry. Wait, my expectation is what? It should be 6. What should it be? So here the lines have already been removed. So I'm really adding it on line 12. And then oh, wait a minute. So these should be, oh, wait a minute. So these change to line 12, right? Because the removal hasn't happened. So they shouldn't be. I think it should be 10. But old start is 12? Yeah, it should be 12. Okay, let's rethink this. So what we did here is it was removing 2 lines, right? So what happened is that the old start and new start became 12 because we're normalizing the hunks so it's isolated. So it doesn't know about the removal of these 2 lines. And then when we moved it in here, we adjusted yeah, the old start should be line 12. Yes, because it doesn't know about the 2 line changes within the same commit. That's the confusing part about this. That each hunk within a commit SHA, the old start, is related to the initial state of the document, not by the previous hunk changes. So old start is 12 because within this commit, it doesn't know about that change. But the new start is now 10 because indeed after like now new start means in the context of this commit it should be 10. It's actually correct. It's amazing. If I understand it, if I'm articulating this correctly. Great. What I think we should try to do now before we move on is to actually produce diffs. So we can actually look at the document. Yeah, and I think so what we could give the rebaser is like the initial state of the document as part of the file changes. So file changes isn't only a record of file change, but it's a record of initial document state. And yeah, I think we should do that. Well, should we do that? Because often the initial document state is that can change, I think. Or that's gonna be quite tricky. Like with a rename, you might have one commit changing a document. You have a new commit that does a rename. And then you might move. And then you might move a rename before you change that document. Yeah, no, I think we should pass in. Yeah, I think we need we basically just need a way to reference a file and a SHA, and we're gonna ask Git to create the state of the document on that SHA. And that's not the job of the rebaser because it shouldn't know about Git itself. So we're gonna be able to pass in. Yeah, I think we're gonna allow passing in the document. Yeah, so when we do the rebasing, it's gonna go through each commit, right? And it looks at the commit, it checks what files we have, it goes and brings in the state of that file, and then it asks it to apply the changes to that document. And then we write it. So I think we can just... Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? That's kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy. we were just talking about it, and then fucking auto suggestion. That's kind of crazy. How did it? That's kind of scary. By the way, are these things actually working? Because I have the only thing. Maybe one of the others fail now. Oh, thank God. So we're that's kind of insane. But we're gonna say document state. File name, document, and we're not gonna have index. We're gonna have hash. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna filter. Well, I think we're actually gonna pass the changes as well. File name, document, changes, apply changes. It's not async, I think. So we don't need to do this. We have the changes. So we're gonna patch the document. I think there is an actual apply patches. I think it's like this. No. So it needs a parsed. Oh. Well, it needs to apply it to something. Okay, load file, file contents of the file. Oh. What the fuck? That's a weird API. What the fuck? Well, load file. What the hell? That's a insanely weird API. Index? Oh, I think it doesn't matter. Yeah. This is a little bit weird. What's the apply patch? Maybe we should do that instead. Yeah, this is better. Oh, you can do changes. No, I thought you could like... What does that mean? So you can... It can be string, parse diff. What's this syntax? Doesn't that mean an array of parse diff? Oh, parse diff. I think it's just... Yeah. So we just need to change this into something that it understands. So we're just gonna write this for modifications. Yeah, I don't think we actually need... Target requires one. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. Let's see. So what I think we should do is we're gonna take the changes, and we're gonna reduce over them. do doc. Sorry. ACC, I mean. This is the change. And then we're gonna hunks. Yeah, I think that's fine. We're just gonna apply one at a time. But I think we can rather do like this, I think. Well, oh, yeah, that's what we did. So what's wrong here? Well, let's just look at the... Why isn't the change... Doesn't the change have... It has lines, new lines. Why are you complaining about that, mister? String or false? Oh, is it the apply patch? What does apply patch return? Oh, string or false. Okay, that's the problem. When failed. Okay. Here, ACC should be a string. Oh, yeah. String or false. Yeah, and then it should be fine to just put change in here. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we even need file name. We just need the document and we need to apply the changes one at a time. And then let's just return it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we're gonna write a test for this. I'm not feeling too good. Let's try to write a test for this, and then we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna leave it at that, and then I think maybe, yeah, we'll see. Anyways, let's try write the test. Let's bring rebaser in here. Could you add a test with an initial document where one commit adds 2 lines, a second commit modifies a line, and a second commit modifies a line. Move the change on the second commit to the first, then apply did we call it apply changes? Then apply changes after get rebase commits. Then apply changes after doing to verify the final result of the document. Let's make sure we have that one. Oh my god, oh my god. I'm very excited about I'm very motivated to actually figure this out, because if I figure this out, it's gonna be an immensely useful tool for anyone, any developer. Like, the target audience is any developer using Git. That doesn't mean they will use it, but they can use it. Well, previous projects I worked on has been very, very, very narrow target, which is fun, but still, it's not been as useful. Okay, so let's see what it did. Should verify document state after moving. So what happened here? Let's read through it first. So we have this first commit, we have the second commit. That's fine. The initial document is line 1, line 2, line 3, and line 4. We have the first commit that has an old start of 2, new start of 2. So it makes a change to line 2. Yeah. Calling it new line 2. And then it adds 2 lines. And then we have the second commit, which has an old start of 5. Which means what does that mean? Why does it have old start 5, new start 5? So line, fuck, it's so difficult to get your head around this. Why is it 5? I added 2 lines. So if I added inserted 1, inserted 2, that means line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. So okay. Line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, line 6. I don't think this is correct. I think this should be old start. Oh, sorry. Fuck. Oh, sorry. No, it is correct. Yeah, once again. Line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. Like, we're on line 5 because the line we're changing is line 4 here. So this is this is line 5, but line 5 means like it's at the end of this, I think. And we're modifying one line, which is line 6, and that's line 4. So I think this is correct. Ah. So when we move the thing over here, so what happens under the hood here is that it's gonna bump old start. It's gonna remove old start and new start is going to be 3. Yeah, you know what? I think it's the LM. Because it's true that we have line 1, new line 2, inserted 1, inserted 2. And we do have modified 4, which is true, but it just forgot line 3. We should have line 3 there. We didn't remove line 3. We modified line 4. Okay, let's add one more test before we call it a day. Now I want to just try flipping them around. Now add another test very similar. Now add another test like the very much the same, only move the first change to the second commit instead. If this works, we can write some new tests for, like, if this works, then we're gonna head into overlapping, or not overlapping, we're just gonna look at we are gonna look at overlapping as well. Because the thing is, the scenario I'm thinking most about is when you write a function and you commit it in one commit, and then you remove a line like a console log in the second commit. Then you want to kind of put those on the same commit, right? You kind of want to squash that console log. But instead of like... Yeah, but maybe you should put it in the trash instead. Yeah, I can't... Yeah, I think we need a base functionality first, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do with this overlap. But at least we're going to create a scenario where it goes into minus on the normalization. Not on the normalization, but on the... when it reapplies the line changes. Okay, this is... Oh, it did the same mistake. It's interesting that it doesn't understand this. Maybe it's me that I don't understand it. So let's talk through it. So what happens here is that we're moving this commit hash to commit hash 2. And it will still apply... Well, it will apply this one first. Yeah, but it's fine. Like, it should just work. Yeah, I think I think this is good. I'm happy about the progress. And what I think we should do, well, we have to support moving it into the trash. That's a really important feature. And yeah, what does that mean here? Yeah, this is really cool because when we have this normalization, we can just move it into the trash. It doesn't matter because we're going to reapply based on the normalized hunks we have. This is really great. There's something about this. I think I made the right decision. Because it doesn't matter, we just remove it, and now it will try to apply what it has. But again, like if you were to try to move that console log down, like you should be able to do it. There's no reference anymore about which hunk should be applied first. So, but we can still use it. Like I was using indexing previously. So each hunk actually has an index, which indicates when it was applied. So when we do the sorting, we do the sorting on old start. But then we could also check if the change is within the same, like if it's overlapping. We can also sort based on that index, so that the console log would indeed be applied after. But it's really tricky, this. Maybe not. Okay, let's comment that. If overlapping, we should sort by an index of when it was applied. And then I wonder, we have this other sort. I wonder why we have two sorts. Do we need two sorts? I could. Yeah, I wonder if we can drop the sort here. We can just say, what if I drop it? Yeah. Should be changes in chronological order. Yeah, and hashed order. So we'll assume that the commits we get in is like the earliest commit to the latest commit, and the same goes for the file changes. We show the changes from the earliest commit to the latest commit. And then when we move, we just change the hash and then we sort it again. Yeah, I think that's fine. So that means that you can have changes from different commits on overlapping lines, because we're going to use an index to ensure that they're still applied in order. What I worry about is when we run through it. No, that shouldn't matter. Yeah, because now we have isolated hunks. It shouldn't matter. Yeah, I really like this. Yeah, we have isolated hunks. So we kind of transpose them in isolation. And then we keep order with the index. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so we have a plan for that. So that means we really do support overlapping hunks. You could get weird results, like with the console log example. Maybe you would move that to like a commit before the function where you originally removed the console log. But the point is that we don't really care. Like this is the beauty of apply patch, is that we don't care about the previous content. We're just applying this like line change. So you're immediately going to see something weird in the UI, like it won't actually remove any console log because the console log isn't there anymore because we moved it to a previous commit. But then you can just move it back and it looks like before. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And then we have this, like there is a chance that we're going to produce a change where the lines are minus. So the depending lines for that change to happen hasn't been applied yet. But that's a very that's an error scenario. You moved something really, really weird. So we can immediately, if that happens, like when you call get rebase commits, as we're applying it, we can even show, yeah, we can just show an error in the UI. We don't throw an error, we still display it, but it won't be part of the like when you click the file, you won't see a diff for it because it's not part of the actual array of lines. But we can indicate an error, like you move this hunk to a place it shouldn't be. Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. So let's write that down. There are two things we're gonna do. One, introduce an index, apply index, so that we can sort overlapping changes. When showing the rebase data, show an error if old start is minus. Yeah, I think it's really coming together. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna eat some lunch, see how I feel, and then wrap up for the holidays, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for following along. Bye for now.